2 points for reflection today: a choice and a mission. The first reading is about a choice, the selection of an apostle to take the place of Judas. The selection process is a bit unusual by our standards. It had to be someone who had walked with Jesus and was a witness to the resurrection. They prayed and nominated 2 possibilities, and then they virtually rolled some dice to make a selection. Matthias was selected. Well, not chosen as apostles, you and I have been chosen through our baptism. We were called by God by name. Whether this takes place today, as one will after Mass, or if it took place 85 years ago, we have been chosen. We renewed it through our celebration of Easter. At the vigil and all the Masses of Easter, we were all sprinkled with water to remind us of our baptism. And as we gather for the last time before the Feast of Pentecost and the end of the Easter season, we're reminded once more that we are called and chosen. When Matthias was chosen, his work, or his mission, really began. We don't have many clear historical facts about what Matthias did. Some have him preaching and dying in Ethiopia. Other accounts have him preaching in what is now the Sudan. Still others have Matthias preaching in Jerusalem itself. But as we know from the work of the other disciples, it was his mission to preach the good news of Christ. He was called and sent. So also are you and me. But to what are we called? For a partial answer, we turn to the gospel reading. Once again, we read from the so-called farewell discourse from John's gospel. And in today's section, Jesus is not addressing the disciples, but his Father. And he's praying for his disciples. And in a sense, praying for you and me who have been called and sent. The prayer is that we are sent into the world so that we might be consecrated in truth. What does that mean on a practical level? Among other things, it means that the baptized are expected to try to influence the world in which they live. That means that it's the task, especially of the Christian laity, to do their best to convey Christian values in the world in which they live. Are you a professional person? How do you exercise your professional responsibilities in a manner which promotes and protects the dignity of all human beings? Are you a blue-collar worker? How do you treat those with whom you work? How do you try to protect the dignity of men and women in your workplace? Are you a student? How do you practice charity and love within the classroom? Or are you retired? How do you use the so-called autumn years of your life in a productive, responsible manner that contributes to the common good? Liturgically speaking, we're kind of in a suspended place. We've celebrated the Ascension, and we look forward to Pentecost next Sunday. Perhaps we can use this suspension to make ourselves conscious of the call that we've all received and ask ourselves how well we are carrying out the mission that we have been given. And just as a postscript, we all know that today is Mother's Day, and we honor those who might be our birth mother, be she living or dead, or anyone who has played a mothering, nurturing role in our life. May you have a happy Mother's Day.